Hello everyone, welcome back. So today's video, I'm going to do something a little bit different, and we're going to make a vertical planter. So this piece of drainage pipe came my way, and I couldn't miss the opportunity to grab this. So this is 450mm diameter pipe, and I've got a piece here, it's probably 1.5 meters tall, something like that. And I'm thinking I'm going to make a vertical strawberry planter, because on the top part of the garden we have a whole bed that I put strawberries in, and it's become completely overgrown with all the stuff that was growing in there before. Even though I dug it out meticulously, this stuff has come back. And what we're going to do is, or I'm not, Julie's going to I obviously can't at the moment. Julie's going to dig that bed over, get the strawberries out, get rid of all the plants and the weeds and things. That is then going to be somewhere to put tomatoes later in the year, and I'm going to drill a load of holes in this pipe to put strawberries in, and hopefully it's going to become a strawberry tower. So, just looking at this now, we have a line here in the moulding of the tube, and so what I'm thinking is I'm going to use that as a guide to put the first lot of holes in, and then work out where I'm going to put the others, because I'm going to push this back up against that fence post. So obviously nothing's going to grow at the back, or on the sort of the back quarters, if you like. So really I'm going to want some holes going down that way, this way, that way, and then maybe some intermediate holes on the 45-degree lines as well. It's quite thick, and the hole saw that I've got isn't as deep as the tube, so I'm not certain how I'm going to get on. I may end up using a jigsaw, but we'll give it a go with this first and see how we get on. So I'm going to lay the tube down, and we'll try putting a hole in somewhere near the bottom first, and then if it goes wrong, it's not the end of the world. You're not going to notice it as much if it was at the top. So I think I'll come up about a foot from the bottom to start the first hole. Yeah, it's the depth of this that's going to be the problem. The depth of the hole saw. might be able to do it if angle the hole saw a bit to get rid of the outer rib and then go through again. Nearly. Yeah, we're nearly through actually. Of course the battery would start to die now, wouldn't it? But I'll see if I can finish this hole. There we go. One hole to plant a strawberry. So I can do it with that. That saves a lot of faffing about trying to use a jigsaw. Okay, I'm going to go change the battery on the drill, and then I'm going to put a row on that line, this joint line, and then a row 90 degrees on that side and this side, and then I'll work out where I want to put some intermediate holes as well. Okay, so I've got the holes drilled here, down that side, and then at the front there, and on this side. So if you can imagine, it's going to be like that, but back up against that fence post. So what I'm going to do now is drill some more holes as intermediate holes. So say one there, one there, one there. So sort of halfway down in height, but between the two sets of holes, if that makes sense. And then the same on that side. So that should give us what we've got there, 5, 20, 19, about 23 strawberry plants in the sides, and then probably another 4 on the top. Right, I'll get these holes drilled, and then I'll move that compost and we'll get it in position. There we go. Strawberry tower. Right, we need to find some stuff to put in it now. So I think, to start with, this is the remainder of last year's homemade compost in there, and that is a load of really good soil that we made from turf, basically the sods of grass that we dug out for some beds in the front garden, and I just stacked them upside down, covered them up, and that's turned into a nice soil. So I'm thinking, if we do a 50-50 mix of these two, see how far that gets us up the strawberry tower, and then just finish it off with some shop bought compost, because this is going to be really good nutritious stuff for the strawberries to grow in. I'm going to struggle to do that, I think, with my hand the way it is. I could do it one little shovel at a time, but it's going to take forever. So I'm going to commandeer some help. So while I'm waiting for a bit of help, I thought I'd talk to you about vertical gardening, because that's what this is. You know, we're growing things in a vertical position as opposed to the traditional horizontal position. And there's pros and cons. The pros would be it saves a lot of space. I could grow, I think there's around 30-ish plants. Is there? 5, 15, 19, 23, about 27-ish in an area of ground that is taking up about 1/4 of a square metre. So that's not bad. And there's another benefit of it's harder for the slugs and snails to get to them. Now I know they could crawl up here, but it's still harder than it would be for them on the ground. Another advantage is this is basically a raised bed, so it's going to warm up a lot quicker in the early part of the year. However, it's going to cool down a lot quicker in the late part of the year. Another advantage of it is I can control what soil goes in here, whereas if I'm growing in the garden, that's a lot more difficult. Now there are some disadvantages too, and that is over time nutrients are going to work their way to the bottom, and changing this soil is going to be a real pain. You know, it's going to be quite a job to empty this and replenish the soil at some point. Now if you think of strawberries, and that's one of the reasons I'm going to grow strawberries in here, generally speaking you will grow strawberries for 3 years and then renew the plants. So if I work on a 3-year cycle for this bed, and then it will be pull the plants out, tip the soil out, spread that on the beds and replenish it. Now in year 2 and 3, what I could do is add some fertiliser on the top here that's going to go down through the bed. So that could be fish blood and bone, it could be some well rotted farmyard manure, it could be some 6 times, it could be all sorts of stuff. So that is a disadvantage, that over time it's harder to maintain the nutrients in the soil, in my opinion. You know, other people may think differently. Another disadvantage is, as I've said, it's going to cool down a lot quicker at the end of the year. Another disadvantage may be it's harder to protect from the birds when you're talking about strawberries, because if it was on the ground I could put some netting over it quite easily. This is going to be a bit more difficult. there's pros and cons, but the biggest one for me, or the biggest two for me, and the reason I'm doing this, is the ground space it takes up. Because we like strawberries, everybody, well, most people like strawberries, but they take up a huge amount of space for the amount of food that you get out of them. And by doing this, I'm really using a tiny bit of space, and it's a bit of space I wouldn't normally grow anything in because it's a paving slab. So, perfect. The tube I got for free. I'm recycling it basically. It would have only gone to the tip. So, that's a good thing. Carbon footprint, very small, I would imagine, if some scientist out there could work it out for me. And it's just a fantastic way of doing it. And the other advantage for me is slugs. Whenever I grow strawberries in the ground, you think that's a nice red strawberry, you go out pick it, and half of it's been eaten by a slug. Hopefully we're not going to have that problem in here, although the birds may be a problem, and I might have to, I don't know, set something up off the fence, a bit of netting or something, but we'll see. With some good nutritious soil in there and keeping it moist all the time, which shouldn't be too bad in that. That's quite a big volume of soil, and you know, hopefully I can maintain the moisture in there without too much difficulty. So all that remains now is to get some help to fill it and get some help to dig the strawberries out of that bed, because it's really overgrown, and that's going to be really difficult for me using one hand, I think. And here we have the greater spotted teenager, normally nocturnal. This one is completely out of its natural habitat. Normally found twiddling its thumbs on an Xbox, it's had to evolve to use a shovel. Deeply scared of the arachnid family, this 16-year-old could be in for quite a few surprises in this unfamiliar environment. So Julie's up there getting the strawberries out of the bed. So I'll have a big bucket of strawberries to plant. Happy days. So what I should have done was put the strawberries in the holes as we filled the pot. Would have been easier. But I found the spanner off my angle grinder makes a decent enough hole just to push the plants in. There we go, guys. Strawberry tower. And I think there's over 30 plants gone in there in the end, because some of the small ones I've put like 2 in a hole or whatever, and I only planned on putting 3 or 4 up there, but there's about 6, so now that's going to need a good water, and I suspect these are going to look a little bit sick for a few days until they get established. So that's floating water on the top now, but obviously I've got to get that water right down to the bottom. So what I'll probably do is let that sink in for a bit and then put some more on. And I was thinking what I could do, if I find that getting water to the bottom is a problem, I could drill another hole with a smaller pipe, put a funnel in it and send water straight down towards the bottom of the stack. But I think it will stay fairly moist at the bottom anyway, as long as I keep it watered, because it's going to take quite a lot for the stuff at the bottom to dry out, I would think, through evaporation. The plants are going to be pumping the water out obviously, but water's going to naturally fall down through the tower. So that's just about soaked in now, so give it some more. So that's about 20 litres of water. I think I'll leave it there and let that work its way down. It's also going to help to settle all the soil. We have been packing it down as we've filled it, but water will make that settle. Got a bit running out of some of the holes. I'm not worried about that. As it settles, it'll sort itself out hopefully, and as the roots of the plants get established, they'll bind it all together and stop the soil being washed out of the holes with any luck. I'm pleased with that. So there we are. I hope you've enjoyed that video. Bit of old drain pipe. Drilled some holes, filled it with compost, soil, and rescued some strawberry plants that would have just got totally overgrown had we not done something with them. And hopefully these will pick up in a few days and they're going to grow and produce some nice fruit. That way south, so obviously the ones on that side and this side will do better than these around here, but that's okay. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet and you like this sort of stuff, then please do. And if you would like to support the channel a bit more, there are links to buy me a coffee and a Patreon page in the description. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.